We are the fourth. We are Wisconsin.
A rainy Wednesday afternoon here in Milwaukee, but we're getting ready for baseball, and that's not going to slow down any tailgaters outside of Miller Park. They're here to see a series win as the Brewers wrap up a short 5-game homestand, a 3-game set against the Pirates, and now today wrapping up a short 2-game series against the Cleveland Indians. Good afternoon, Sophia Minard here at Miller Park, and last night's win will be remembered for Brent Suter's efforts covering 4 2/3 in relief and also homering off of Cy Young Award winner Corey Kluber. But it did come at a cost. Brent Suter, of course, had to come in for starter Wade Miley, who was just 3 batters into his Miller Park debut and just his second start of the season, when Miley would have to leave the game with what was termed a right oblique strain, today placed on the 10-day disabled list. And it also came as a cost for utility infielder Nick Franklin, who had just been called up from Double-A Biloxi in the 4th inning, would pull up with a right quad strain. On that fielder's choice, he was also placed on the 10-day disabled list today. But the good news for the Brewers, all-star closer Corey Knebel back from his minor league rehab assignment. We know what he did last year as a 2017 All-Star, 39 saves in 76 appearances, just the 178 earned run average, and the opponent average very low at just 180. So manager Craig Counsell spoke about what it means to get their all-star closer back into the bullpen.
It's great to have him back. I mean, he's, I think he, like we talked about yesterday, the whole rehab process for him has gone very smoothly, gone very well. You feel like we're adding a really good, the strength of last year's bullpen, we're adding it to a group that's performed really well so far.
Craig Counsell and the Brewers eager to welcome back their all-star closer and Corey Knebel. Again, the moves, Wade Miley and Nick Franklin on the 10-day disabled list. Corresponding move, shortstop Tyler Saladino has been recalled from AAA Colorado Springs. He had just been acquired a few weeks ago from the Chicago White Sox, where he spent 3 big league seasons. He is hopeful to be here in time for the game, traveling from Colorado. So Saladino added to the Brewers roster as well. But coming up, we'll take a look at last night's great win. Again, Brent Suter, what a terrific night, a night he'll never forget as the Brewers took game 1 of the series. Matt LePay and Bill Schroeder will preview that coming up next.
Abraham, voted best, rated best. QP and Abraham, tell them you mean business. By Miller Lite, great taste and only 96 calories. And by Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Brewers looking to wrap up the homestand with a little two-game sweep of the Cleveland Indians. Carlos Carrasco gets the call for Terry Francona's club. Junior Guerra on the mound here today for the Brew Crew. And from inside Miller Park, we bid you a good afternoon. Alongside Bill Schroeder, I'm Matt LePay. We'll check in with Sophia Minard throughout the broadcast. Well, you hear the phrase a lot, Rock, in baseball or whatever sport, team win. Yeah. But it really did apply last night. Brewers did a lot of things well in beating a Cy Young award-winning pitcher in Corey Kluber.
Yeah, except for the two injuries, I think Craig Counsell will tell you it couldn't have gone any better as far as the game went. I mean, a very short start for Wade Miley. He got hurt, but things really came together. Brent Suter doing a heck of a job, 4 2/3 innings. You got the big blow by Travis Shaw. Look at the defense by the Raptor. A double play, able to grab the bunt, throw it to second base, and then he takes Kluber deep, the only pitcher ever to take Corey Kluber out of the ballpark. Outstanding day. The defense was very good. Everything going very well. And once again, the bullpen coming up big. Jeremy Jeffers, Jennings, Hader, Suter, outstanding work in yesterday's ball game. It's just one of those fun days in the yard last night.
Yeah, good win for the Brew Crew. Looking for the sweep of this short series. Christian Yelich and company ready to have at it. Lineups, first pitch, Brewers and Indians coming up on Fox Sports Wisconsin. If only these guys would just loosen up a little bit. There's Brent Suter. Saw what he did on the mound and at the plate last night, leading the pregame routine in the Brewers dugout. Roof will be closed today. Have a rainy Wednesday afternoon here in Milwaukee. Great to have the roof as Terry Francona, who concluded his big league playing career here in Milwaukee. As his Indians trying to get a split in this series. Here's the Indians batting order. Francisco Lindor, Jason Kipnis, Jose Ramirez up top. Michael Brantley hits cleanup. Yonder Alonso, Tyler Naquin, Bradley Zimmer back in the lineup for the Indians. Roberto Perez behind the plate. Carlos Carrasco rounding out the Cleveland batting order, and that's the order that Junior Guerra faces here this afternoon.
Yeah, looking for a bounce back start. He got hit around pretty good against the Pirates early in his homestand. Really his only bad outing. Still the earned run average very good. 233, start number 6 for Junior Guerra. First time ever facing the Cleveland Indians.
A good matchup last night at Miller Park. Let's find out what's in store today as Guerra with a fastball delivers for strike 1, and we are underway at Miller Park. Brewers getting to Corey Kluber last night in a 3-2 win. Little home run power. One a likely source, the other maybe not so much. Travis Shaw, the first inning homer, and then Brent Suter, not a wall scraper, goes deep to center field. The beauty of this game, you never know.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to see. Yeah, what a night it was for Brent Suter. Didn't even know he was going to be pitching.
Came in the 4th hitter of the game. Wade Miley was facing Michael Brantley, and an oblique injury took Miley out of the game. The Brewers won despite losing Miley, and then Nick Franklin, who was just called up, he went out with a quad injury. And the Brewers were able to scrape across enough runs to put themselves in position to close the homestand in a good fashion, make it a winning one before they head on the road, another 3-city trip. And a good start for Junior Guerra as he gets a punch out of Francisco Lindor.
Yeah, let's check out the defense for Craig Counsell's Milwaukee Brewers today. Got Yelich, Kane, Santana in the outfield. You got Shaw, Arce on the left. VR getting a start at second base. Jesus Aguilar at first. And Manny Pena behind home plate, catching the day game after a night game today.
Jeff Nelson, the crew chief. Andy Fletcher calling balls and strikes. Laz Diaz, Manny Gonzalez at second and third, respectively. And here's Jason Kipnis.
Right, keep an eye out for the fastball command for Guerra today. It was lacking his last time out, really falling behind in the count. Walked 4, which is very uncharacteristic of Junior Guerra. Seems like it's a little bit better already today.
The Pirates touched him up with a couple of home runs. Corey Dickerson, and then Starling Marte, an inside the park 2-run homer in the Pittsburgh win last Friday here at Miller Park. Kipnis sends one in the left center field. And there's the first hits of this Wednesday afternoon.
Well, let's check out our Pizza Ranch for the win here this afternoon. The Brewers got to turn things around during the day. They're 4-8 in day games compared to 17-7 in night games. Figure that one out. The fastball command very important for Junior Guerra. Seems like it's better already in the first inning. And Corey Knebel's back. That's a big deal. He's strengthening on already very good pen.
Yeah, that bullpen held up very, very well in his absence. So a big plus to get Knebel back into the mix. Jose Ramirez steps to the plate. Indians very much a home run hitting team. Only the Blue Jays have hit more in the American League than have the Indians, and just by 50 home runs last night. Ramirez did his part last night, hitting his 10th of the year. Both of the Cleveland runs came via the long ball. Ramirez and Francisco Lindor both off Brent Suter. They're out in front, 2 strikes and nothing.
Well, the split-fingered fastball, that's where you want it. You want it over the plate, but down out of the strike zone.
Kipnis, a 1-out single. We are just getting started here in Milwaukee. Two-strike pitch. Rock mentioned Guerra effective in his first 4 starts. Remember, he's had a couple of losing decisions, but the first one was a tough one. A shutout loss at Wrigley Field, 6 innings of 3-hit 1-run ball. That was it. He's been a 5-6 inning guy. The 6 innings the most or the longest he has gone in a start, but effective. And a ground ball. That's Travis Shaw in the shift. There's Arcia, and that's all they'll get. As they erase Kipnis, Ramirez the runner at first with 2 men out.
Yeah, Ramirez gets down that line pretty well. Didn't look like Garcia really got his feet under him and got off a really strong throw. Let's check it out. See Kipnis coming in hard, a late slide, and I don't think that Arce was able to get much on the throw. You can do it. Try and take him out. You can see him with the leg whip, but he's able to maintain contact of second base.
So 2 outs for the cleanup hitter Michael Brantley. Brewers pitching held him hitless last night. He did walk. And the runner's going. Here's the throw from Pena, and safe at second is Jose Ramirez.
Little high, perfect throw, and he's out.
Pena has thrown out his share.
Yeah, good pitch to throw on, pitch away, but a little bit high. It had to be on the bag. It wasn't.
That is the 4th stolen base in 5 tries for Jose Ramirez.
One of those reasons why you might want to keep that tag on the runner all the way through, because he did lose contact with the bag for a split second.
Brantley has driven in 17. Brewers with the win last night gives them a 21-15 record, and the Indians have dropped a game below 500 now, 17-18. And a very bunched up American League Central. A game under 500, but still a half-game lead over the Twins.
Isn't that something? Under 500 in first place.
Here's a throw down from Pena. Picked off 6 last year.
Saying you stole a base, we're going to pick you off.
Get it right back.
Yep. Day game after a night game. Quick turnaround. Manny's back there again.
Brewers catchers have been good at throwing out runners. Bandy 4 out of 6, and Pena 33% coming into this game. You certainly take those numbers from Pena and his ability to pick off runners.
Yeah, around 40% between the two of them.
Yeah, that's outstanding. Three balls, 1 strike to Michael Brantley. On base percentage of .355. Brantley draws a walk, so the Indians with a threat here in the first inning. Runners at first and second with 2 men out.
Almost appeared like he was pitching around him once Ramirez stole the base. That 2-seamer not even close.
Indians last night stranded 5. They were hitless. Both teams actually were hitless with runners in scoring position. It was all about the home run ball. Here is Yonder Alonso, off to a slow start this season. Had a career year last year, an all-star.
Yeah, the only hitter in the Indians lineup that's ever faced Junior Guerra before, that was when he was a member of the San Diego Padres.
Got 3 at-bats against him. 1 hit. And that's your sample size in the Indians lineup. Alonso back in December signed a 2-year deal with the Indians. Split his time last year with the A's and then was traded in August to the Seattle Mariners. He hit 28 home runs last year. In his career before last year, he hit a total of 39.
Yeah, that San Diego ballpark, a little bit different than the one in Cleveland. A little more difficult to hit home runs there. Yes, but still, sir. I think he learned himself as a hitter and has turned himself into a good power hitter, not just the ballpark.
The majority of his productivity last year with the A's before the move. Another part, although Chris Davis has had something to say about it, that's a ballpark you don't think of as being particularly hitter friendly, right? 2 balls, 1 strike.
Oakland, yeah. Maybe during the day, but certainly at night it's much more difficult to hit him out of that ballpark.
2 balls, no strikes. Ramirez the runner at second. Michael Brantley over at first. Batting to Chase.
Now working the two-seam fastball going away from Alonso. The 4-seamer, the 2-seamer. He got them both going already today.
Mentioned Alonso struggling with the average, but still has 8 homers. He's driven in 21. Here comes the 2-2. And Guerra gets out of the inning. Couple of strikeouts as the Indians strand a pair here in the top half of the first. Good work by Guerra as he wiggles out of some trouble. Indians do not score. Brewers coming up. Craig Counsell's team will step to the plate for the first time here this afternoon. A 21-15 record, trying to make this a winning homestand. Just a quick 5-gamer here. They have split the first 4. And here is the Milwaukee batting order for this afternoon. Lorenzo Cain, Christian Yelich, per usual 1-2. Jesus Aguilar over at first today. Travis Shaw hits cleanup. Domingo Santana, Jonathan Villar, Manny Pena, Orlando Arcia, and Junior Guerra. That's the batting order that will square off against Carlos Carrasco.
Yeah, he got some Cy Young Award votes a year ago. 4th in the Cy Young in the American League in voting last year. 18 wins. Excellent earned run average. He's been knocked around his last couple of starts. He's given up 10 earned runs in 8 1/3 innings in his last 2, but before that, very good.
Yeah, the Blue Jays and Mariners got to him. Mariners have dealt Carrasco with his only loss in 5 decisions. A ball to strike to Lorenzo Cain. Brewers got on the board early last night. Travis Shaw, 2-run homer against Corey Kluber.
And this is a guy you got to jump on early as well before he settles in. First time he's ever faced the Brewers.
"31 years old. Part of an outstanding pitching staff that the Indians have. Lorenzo Cain going back to his American League days. Has fared well. By far the biggest sample size, although Tyler Saladino also has faced Carrasco and has had some success against him. So keep that in mind as we move along. As Kane greets Carrasco today with a base hit to center.
Yeah, got a slider. He'll throw sliders to right-handers, change-ups to lefties. A couple of different fastballs. And you see the slider kind of flat. Didn't have a whole lot of tilt to it, and Lorenzo Cain stays right on it and rolls it into center field. Good start for Milwaukee. Boy, it'd be nice to see the offense get going today.
Yeah, Wood, the home run power was great last night, but they missed a big chance in the 8th inning to pop it open. Left the bases loaded. Opportunity was there. The Indians bullpen, much maligned, was able to keep the game close. Here's Christian Yelich. He was spraying the ball all over the ballpark last night. 3 singles in all directions.
Yep, left, center, and right. Yeah, that's his game. Been a good start for him.
It's that batting average above 300, on base percentage of 371. Carrasco with a big year last year. An 11-game winner the year before. Here's the 1-1 pitch.
You see that fastball in on Yelich that time at 92. He'll go around 92 to 95. I mean, cruising speed around in that area somewhere. But his best pitch, I mean, his out pitch, particularly against lefties, is a good changeup. He's got a really good changeup that goes down and away to lefties. I'd see one here.
Ahead of the count, a ball, 2 strikes. There it is. That's out number 1.
Got good arm action on it. Starts as a strike, and then with that late movement ends up being off the outside corner. A pitch to be aware of with Carrasco out on the mound. That's a good one.
The great equalizer. He had a year wiped out, did Carrasco. A long time Indian. His debut with Cleveland was back in 2009. Late in the 2011 season, he had to shut it down. Needed Tommy John surgery. Had wiped out all of 2012. Here is Jesus Aguilar. Back in the starting lineup this afternoon. Ryan Braun had the call over at first last night.
Great Counsell inserts him in that number 3 spot. Gives you an idea of what he thinks about the at-bats for Aguilar this year.
A lot of hard hit balls from Jesus Aguilar, much like last season, as he lifts one into right field. That's Tyler Naquin out there this afternoon. That's out number 2.
Well, let's check out the rest of the Indians defense. We already saw Tyler Naquin. You got Michael Brantley in left. Bradley Zimmer in center. You got Ramirez, Lindor, Kipnis, and Alonso from 3rd to 1st. And Roberto Perez behind home plate. Yeah, Yan Gomes sits this one out.
So 2 men out with Kane, the runner at first for Travis Shaw. Brewers did what they needed to do last night, getting to Kluber early. That was courtesy of Travis Shaw as he rocked one out of here to right field.
And the Brewers did what they had to do against Kluber. And it got to him early. Kluber hung a slider, and Shaw able to knock it out of the ballpark.
For the record, the Brewers now 16-5 in games in which they hit the big fly. And Shaw sends one to center field. Room for Bradley Zimmer. And that'll do it for Milwaukee here in the first. A leadoff single, but that's it. Off Carrasco, scoreless after 1.
second, and the Brewers made another roster move today, and there's a look at shortstop Tyler Saladino, called up from AAA Colorado Springs. On the season there in 13 games with them, he had a .295 average, 7 RBIs, and scored in 9 runs. He was acquired from the Chicago White Sox back on April 19th, made his debut in 2015, spent the last 3 seasons with the White Sox, and manager Craig Counsell said this was a player that the front office had been interested in for a while, not just for his infield experience, but big league time as well. He said he's a very good defensive player. And he said he'll probably play a role similar to what Eric Sogard did, able to play all 3 infield spots, but will primarily see time at shortstop. That was the move corresponding to Nick Franklin going on the 10-day disabled list this morning. Yeah,
Sophia and Rock, there's another player. We talked about it with Tom Flanagan, the farm director, last night, how this organization values versatility. Sophia mentioned his primary positions, but he's been just about everywhere.
Yeah, he's played in the outfield, infield positions. He's been over at first base. So a guy that gives Counsell some flexibility, which is kind of mandatory on the bench these days for not just the Brewers, but every team. 28 years old, right-handed hitter. Spent 3 years with the Sox.
Chatting it up with Jason Lane in the dugout. Tyler Naquin leading things off here for the Indians. Naquin, Zimmer, and Roberto Perez against Junior Guerra. Little mix and match lineup, day game after a night game for Terry Francona. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And another strikeout for Guerra. That's 3 of them in the early going.
He's got a good fastball today. Pretty good location as well. Yeah, working ahead, and he's able to catch the outside corner. Looked like a foul tip that Manny was able to hold on to.
One away in the second inning. Bradley Zimmer back in the lineup for the Indians. Had to miss a couple of games. He crashed into the outfield wall at Yankee Stadium trying to run down a fly ball over the weekend. A highly regarded prospect. In fact, was the top prospect going into last year in the Indians organization. Ended up playing in 101 games a season ago. Fast and a very, very strong arm. And big. An idea there. He's 6'5", 220.
Yeah, it's a big strike zone. Yeah, good leverage. I'll tell you, Junior's got good fastball today. 94. Remember last year, he could barely get to 93. He was throwing in 91, 92. Up in the zone, underneath it. Good pitch.
Just a little more reminiscent of a couple of years ago. Ready with a 1-2. In the air to left. On the run is Yelich. Not a problem. 2 men out.
Hey, that was a pretty good ride. Didn't sound like it was going to go very far, but all the way to the fence. Got it down on the trademark a little bit. Didn't get all of it, but still gave it a pretty good ride out there to left field.
Two outs, bases empty in the second inning. Now Roberto Perez, the catcher. And there today after Yan Gomes was behind the plate last night. Perez got on a hot streak last year, which coincided with his team's hot streak, including that 22-game run that they had last season. A good finish to the regular season at the plate did Perez. Drove in 21 runs over his last 25 games. Here's the 1-1. Garrett did not make the 25-man out of spring training. Was close. Pitched well in the Cactus League. Made 1 start at Colorado Springs.
And you knew that even though he didn't make the roster out of spring training, you knew he was going to be, you know, with the Brewers at some point. I don't think anybody thought it'd be this soon with the injuries. And yeah, but Garrett really has done well for himself this year.
His season debut came April 11th. Afternoon game in St. Louis. Gave up just a run in 5 1/3. And another strikeout, 4 of them. 2 in each of the first 2 innings for Junior Guerra. Nice and clean in inning number 2. We are through an inning and 1/2 here at Miller Park. Homestand finale. Brewers and Indians, no score. To be healthy and confident at the Girls on the Run of Southeastern Wisconsin Spring 5K presented by Brewers Community Foundation on Saturday, June 2nd at Miller Park. To register, visit Girls on the Run southeasternwi.org/5K. A nice Wednesday afternoon crowd here at Miller Park.
Kids and seniors discount days. A lot of kids at the ballpark today.
Beauty of the roof.
They like to make the signs, you know. They got a stand down there in the right field corner.
Yes, they do.
They give the paper and they make their signs and hold them up. Maybe get them on the air.
A lot of creativity. We encourage that.
Of course, you get your and I name on the sign. You know you're going to get on television.
No doubt. We encourage that.
Anything that might say Matt and Rock, you know it's going to show up on the air. I'm just saying.
We're just trying to help everybody out. That's all. Anything to help the cause. Santana hits it well, but that will twist out of play. See that batting average for Santana now at 266. He's bumped it up over the last dozen games. Was at 219, but he's showing some signs of coming around. Walked a couple of times last night, 0 for 2 plus those walks. Has been getting on base.
Well, you got to walk before you run, right? And that's what they say. I know Santana's got those home run numbers in his mind. He's got the 1 after a 30 home run season last year.
30 homers, and he had 29 doubles a year ago. A wave and a miss there for out number 1 here in the second. Today's game, one of several afternoon games, by the way.
That slider perfectly placed right on the outside corner. Sliders to right-handers, change-ups to lefties. But even if you know it's coming and he puts it there, you're not going to do anything with it. Doing a good job just fouling it off.
All the attention on Kluber, and rightly so, the Cy Young winner. As Rock mentioned, Carrasco finished 4th in the voting. Heck of a staff. Still is.
Yeah. And it's not the starting rotation that's been the issue for Cleveland. Bullpen. They looked pretty good last night.
Andrew Miller is close to returning, they say, but since he's been out, this is a team that came into town in the absence of Miller with a bullpen ERA of more than 10. Did their job last night keeping the game close.
He's like the safety net down there, right? I mean, without him, I mean, everybody else is got a little bit more laid on them, and Terry Francona's got to figure out a new plan.
Doing a lot of mixing and matching. It's a bullpen now that includes Oliver Drake. There's VR into center field, a base hit. Upon his return to the lineup this afternoon.
Yeah, I'd like to see VR get a little bit more consistent up there at the plate. There's that changeup. And Jonathan able to wait back long enough and knock it into center field. Good job by VR to wait back.
Well, it's certainly a key. We're talking about the Indians bullpen. Corey Kluber's appearance last night was his shortest of the year. It was still a quality start. He went for 6 innings. And while the Indians bullpen got the job done last night, you'd certainly love to see this Brewers offense tested again as Pena rifles one just foul. Here's what we're talking about, the before and after, or before and since, with Andrew Miller's injury. It's amazing.
The effect of one guy in the pen, right?
It really is.
I mean, and everybody realizes, I mean, it's understood that their job does not change no matter when they come in, but it just is disruptive. Gives you an idea just how much he means, not just what he does on the field, but maybe what he does in the culture of that bullpen during the game.
And while Corey Knebel is now back in play, he is activated and a member of the bullpen for the Brew Crew. It does speak volumes of what that group down there was able to do in his absence. Good news is when Knebel went down, it was thought to be more of a 6 to 8 week period before he came back, and it turns out to be about a month and change.
And Craig Counsell doesn't get enough credit for what he was able to do in that bullpen and continues to do. And Derek Johnson's right in there as well. Masterful job of working this bullpen so far this year. Kind of breaking some old traditions, right?
Yeah,
multiple inning guys, just about every one of them.
There's a roller to Lindor. Kipnis for 1, and that's a room service double play, and that'll do it for the Brewers here in the 2nd inning. We are through 2 here at Miller Park. Indians and Brewers, no score. Wisconsin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. By Ascension, coming together to give healthcare a better name. We are Ascension. And by Pepsi, this is the Pepsi for your crew. How cute is that? Wednesday afternoon here at Miller Park.
Friends forever.
That's right.
Yep.
Third inning of work for Junior Guerra. 9-1-2 for the Cleveland Indians. Carlos Carrasco.
What do they call that these days? The BFF?
The BFF. That's right. Boy,
Yeah.
look, listen to you. You're very current, Rock. You're more current than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah, I'm trying.
How's that working?
Yeah, well.
I'm still stunned from your comments on Brewers Live to Craig Kashawn, and obviously Kashawn was stunned that you laid off the bacon here today at brunch.
Yeah, it was a nice big pile of it, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was good.
Emphasis on was.
Yeah, I just decided that today was going to be a non-bacon day, so I figured I'd let everybody else enjoy it. Did you have some?
Yeah, I did actually.
We had some bacon and some French toast. Our buddy Seth Vanderland, the executive chef here at the ballpark, he takes good care of us, doesn't he?
The best. He is the best. Fifth strikeout for Junior Guerra. So inning number 3 starts.
Yesterday he brought in some fried oyster sliders.
You were on that.
I mean, it's one of my favorite all-time foods, the fried oyster.
You know, I was talking, I think we all were, with Jeff Levering, who is still dealing with general soreness after you slammed the door on him to make sure he didn't, you know, jump in there.
You know, normally we share our food, but yesterday with the oyster slider, it was a very select group.
You wouldn't know it there, but Jeff is hurt. He's playing hurt next door at the radio booth. Physically and emotionally after being denied the fried oysters.
Yeah, he didn't actually get hit physically by the door, but just the meaning of the slamming of the door in his face. We have fun up here, don't we?
We do.
Give each other some grief every now and again, but it's fun. Good times.
It is. Every now and again is really more constant.
Yeah.
But that's how it works. If you're thin-skinned,
you're not going to last very long.
You got to get out.
Yeah.
You just got to get out of here. There's a 1-1 to Lindor. I've noticed it's especially dangerous when you're not here. I'm sure BA's ears are burning.
Oh yeah.
And when we tag up here late next week, mine will be burning. That's just how it works.
Why do you think I never leave?
I know. You're a wise man.
I can only imagine what goes on if I wasn't here. Free for all. Yeah.
Lindor just stays alive, getting a piece.
But you're, you know, coming up on a period of, you know, some R&R, right?
Yeah, BA. I'll hand the baton or tag off, however you want to put it. He'll be back for the Twins series a week from Friday, right? Up at Target Field. He'll be back. He'll be filling in for a couple weeks, and then.
Yeah, your fill-in's coming back.
Yeah, right. He'll be back briefly and then away. But I will say and remind, I know I've said it before, he will be here much more often than not when he returns next week.
Right.
He's finishing up his NBA duties. And I am most definitely going to be tuning in for his return, because I know you guys are just going to be so nice to him.
Yeah.
There will be no barbs.
Yeah. Got to indoctrinate him back into the group a little bit. He knows what's coming.
He does. He will not. He would only be surprised if you killed him with kindness. Check out Junior Guerra here. Another punch out.
Yeah.
Half dozen of them. 2 away in the 3rd.
Well, it's the fastball. It's the splitter, and that's a perfectly located split-fingered fastball over the plate. It's got to be over the plate to get the swing. And starts out as a strike and then dives as it gets to home plate. I was thinking maybe silent treatment. That might be that might confuse him a little bit.
Yeah, kind of like the the big leaguer who hits his first home run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that might
be the way to go. Huh?
Yeah, that might hurt. You'd be surprised. All of you who know BA, don't tell him our little secret. It's just between us. He's busy right now. Jason Kipnis singled his first time up. It's the one hit for the Indians. That snapped at 0 for 16 for the Cleveland second baseman. And a little pop up here. Orlando Arcia will squeeze it. And another 1-2-3 inning for Junior Guerra. Still scoreless at Miller Park in the third.
Starter James Paxton, who threw the third no-hitter of this Major League season against the Blue Jays last night. The first Canadian-born player to throw a no-hitter in Canada. Very cool moment for him. Had just 3 walks and 7 strikeouts on the night. And how bad do you think he wanted that no-hitter? Well, his final pitch, his 99th pitch of the outing, clocked in at 99 miles per hour against Josh Donaldson. Good stuff from Paxton. And again, the third no-hitter of the season so far already. And a very cool note, the 3 no-hitters in 3 different countries. Chaminade did it in Oakland Coliseum. The Dodgers did it in Mexico just about a week ago. And then James Paxton last night in Toronto.
3 of them already, and we're not even to the middle of May.
Right. And a lot of near misses. Almost a perfect game last night.
Sophia mentioned Paxton being a native of Canada. He is the second Canadian-born pitcher to throw a no-hitter. Orlando Arcia leading off here in the third. Dick Fowler of the Philadelphia A's had a no-no back in the mid-40s, 1945. So there you go.
Yep. Hey, baseball announced yesterday that they're going to have a series, Yankees-Red Sox in London next year.
Yeah, when you think about that, the rivalry series that gets so much run, the Fenway Park Yankee Stadium, they're going to take it overseas.
Yeah. 2-game series. The Red Sox, they announced, are going to be the home team.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Arcia, a steady diet of sliders out number 1 here in the third.
Hey, the Brewers battle the Mets on Friday, May 25th, and the first 20,000 fans at the ballpark will take home a one-of-a-kind snapback hat modeled after the team's on-field BP caps, courtesy of 94.5 KTI Country. Reserve your seats at brewers.com/tickets.
One out for Junior Guerra. Yeah, that was some head-turning news, I think, with the Yankees, Red Sox taking a couple of games to London. It's some outside-the-box thinking. You think of that with some other ball clubs. Recently, the Dodgers, Padres played in Mexico, but this is obviously a little more distance to cover here. Expanding the game, more international flavor. It's been very good in that regard, and hitting a new area next year.
Not a bad idea. I like it.
Promotes the game.
Yeah, it is an international game. You have players in the big leagues from all over.
And Carrasco with consecutive strikeouts here in the third inning.
Pitchers dominating so far today. Early call for the guys today. Yeah, night game last night. First pitch at 12:10. Guys are, you know, baseball players, like everybody, I think, very routine oriented, and you know, day games kind of disruptive. Yeah, get up early, you're out of your routine, and Brewers have not fared all that well in day games this year. 4-8. Indians under 500 in day games.
And under 500 period right now at 17-18. But Francona's team, as we mentioned, still atop the AL Central, and obviously very high expectations again.
Over in the American League, the Orioles are 3-10 in day games. Of course, the Yankees, they do well day or night. They're 10-3 in day games. Anybody going to stop them?
Well, I don't know. Let's we talk about that. The Yankees, Red Sox next year going to London. They are rolling. They have created a little space between themselves and the rest of the American League East. You tend not to stare down the standings a whole lot unless there's something that's unusual. And you know, the Indians at below 500 atop their division, and Boston and New York at 25-10. 6.5 games separating those clubs from the Blue Jays. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Lorenzo Cain. Breaking ball fouled away.
And just to finish the thing on day games, the Cincinnati Reds are only 2-12 in day games.
They're not much better under the lights either, but the 2 wins particularly is a problem. Just 9 wins overall. They made a interesting deal yesterday. Matt Harvey for Devin Mesoraco.
It's going to be good for Harvey. Talk about a change of scenery. I think he needed it.
Yeah, he did. It's just so it's interesting, and how cruel the game can be. I mean, Matt Harvey was thought to be the next big thing not so long ago, and Mesoraco the same, an all-star a few years ago. He just has had terrible luck staying healthy. Tucker Barnhart has emerged.
And Mets need catching. Cincinnati always seems like they've needed started pitching. I think there's something left in the tank for Matt Harvey. I think it's going to be good for him.
You would think a low pressure, relatively speaking, situation. Kane lays off. The Reds non-contending. Obviously the market size dramatically different. Maybe in both cases for Mesoraco, a fresh start for him as well. Full count to Kane. Bases empty with 2 men out. And Carrasco strikes out the side here in inning number 3. Both pitchers in rhythm. Scoreless as we move to the 4th.
Checking out our Brewers minor league scouting report brought to you by UW Whitewater. It was a 3-hit night for Nate Orff last night. Had a double, scored 2 runs as well, extended his hitting streak to 18 games, and he's putting up monster numbers over that stretch. He's hitting .464, 16 runs scored, 5 doubles, a triple, and 13 RBIs on the season in 29 games. It's a .381 average with 18 RBIs and 8 stolen bases. So Nate Orff just continues to rake.
Yeah, you're right. Wherever he is, he will hit. 28 years old. See him a lot, obviously, in spring training. Jose Ramirez leading off here. It's Ramirez, Brantley, and Yonder Alonso. That's 3, 4, and 5 in the Indians batting order. Look up on Sophia's point. Orff last year with the Sky Sox hit .320. Included 11 triples. Indians with just 1 hit. There's Jason Kipnis in the 2nd inning. Guerra has retired the side in order in each of the last 2. Good matchup. Guerra and Carlos Carrasco. Ramirez with 10 homers. Driven in 22. Number 10 came last night off Brent Suter. That's hit well into right center field, and that's going to find the gap. Ramirez on his way to second, and a stand-up double is how Cleveland starts the 4th inning.
Well, he has the ability to put the bat on the baseball. He's not a guy that strikes out a lot, which is unusual for a hitter that hits the home runs that he does. That mistake that time, 94 down the middle, the 2-seamer, and Ramirez gets the Indians off and running here in the 4th.
These are 2 ball clubs. We mentioned it a little bit last night, how they both can flex the muscles with the power. But overall, the offense hasn't been what it probably will be, or what you think it will be. These are dangerous lineups.
Especially given the ballparks that they play in their home games. I mean, Cleveland, that's a really good ballpark to hit. Surrenders a lot of home runs. I don't know if it's a ballpark or the hitters that they have in their lineup. I think a little bit of both. But, you know, Miller Park, everybody knows that Brewer lineups over the years have been built for home runs. They'll get it going.
Michael Brantley walked in the 1st inning. Indians stranded a couple of runners in inning number 1. Brantley, a 2-time All-Star, including last year, although his season lasted just 90 games. Injury issues cut his year short. "31-year-old now. Ankle injury in August, all but ended his season. Came back late in the regular season. Did appear in the divisional round against the Yankees, but really couldn't get back into form. He was just 1 for 11 in that 5-gamer with New York.
And his game is so dependent, or his offense so dependent on seeing the baseball, staying back, very selective at the plate. He makes you work. He's always had a good on-base percentage. When you sit out that long, that makes that very difficult.
2 balls, 1 strike. Leadoff double from Jose Ramirez here in the 4th inning. Back up the middle. That's a base hit. This will get the Indians on the scoreboard as Ramirez will post home, and it's 1-0 Cleveland.
And just shortening up on the split-fingered fastball. You can see it didn't really do much. More of a changeup that time. It didn't dive as it got to home plate. So a mistake with a fastball to Ramirez and a hanging splitter. And Junior finds himself behind.
RBI number 18 for Brantley. That snaps a little slump he had been in. He was 0 for his last 13. There's Yonder Alonso. So last year he split his time between the A's and Mariners, but several years with the San Diego Padres. With a two-seamer there, 2 balls, no strikes. Brewers now adjusting their defensive alignment as they throw Travis Shaw, the third baseman.
And figuring that Alonso on a 2-0 count is not going to try and just bunt one toward third base. It's got to be tempting, though. It's really not a bad play with nobody out.
Every now and then you see it.
I mean, you get it by the pitcher over there, it's a hit.
You can see it is wide open. Two-one pitch. Goes the other way. This is a long run for Christian Yelich, and he cannot get it. Brantley on his way to third. Alonso to second. And it's double, single, double here to start the 4th inning for the Indians.
And kind of a jam shot, but that's the scouting report. If he's going to hit the ball to the opposite field, it's going to be in the air. You saw the big shift in the infield, but pretty much straight away in the outfield. Yeah, but nobody going to catch that right down the line. And you know, the Indians with already a run in, set up for more.
Get Derek Johnson out of the dugout. Little mound visit with Junior Guerra. Hey, our future is here, and now is the time to own it. The new home of the Milwaukee Bucks opens next season, but now is the time to lock in your seats. Season ticket packages for the 2018-19 season are on sale now, so purchase yours today at foxsportswisconsin.com/events.
And we mentioned that only one of these Indians, and that was Alonso, had ever faced Junior Guerra. And these big league hitters, and we talk about it all the time, they make adjustments very quickly. So second time through, Indians starting to get a better feel for what Guerra's doing out there.
Junior rolled through it the first time. He has racked up 6 strikeouts in the first 3 innings. They're measuring him now. Ramirez a double, Brantley a run scoring single, and Alonso a double. Here's Tyler Naquin. You can see this kind of statistical line with the number of pitchers in the game. His first 2 times, that's you'll take that. You'll take 220 any day, but the third time through, and you see it with a lot. Guerra's gone like 5 innings. He's had 1 outing of 6.
Well, third time through, normally, 5th, 6th inning, and that's when, pitchers, starting pitchers are going to start maybe tiring a little bit. The pitch counts are getting up there. Lose a little on the fastball, perhaps.
Talking last night where Kluber is a little bit, you could call it a throwback now, a 200 inning pitcher. He's done that each of the last 4 years. You just don't see that a whole lot anymore. Third time through is when they often go to the bullpen, not just here, but most everywhere.
Yeah.
They were looking for his first out of the inning here. A ball, 2 strikes to Naquin. Brantley has driven in the first run of the day. Guerra with 6 strikeouts. He could use number 7 right now. And he gets it. No, he does not, as Pena unable to hang on. Foul tip.
Yep, the high fastball. And Manny just not able to hold on. That's something you can work on. You either catch it or you don't.
Little infield, halfway. The 1-2. Naquin, a first-round pick for the Indians back in 2012 out of Texas A&M. A couple years ago, he took over as the regular center fielder after an injury suffered by Michael Brantley. Spent most of last year in AAA, did Naquin. And now a full count. So a troublesome fourth inning here for Junior Guerra.
And Craig Counsell forced to bring the infield in, which is a little bit risky with first and second, nobody out. And that's kind of the way things have been going. You know, runs have been hard to come by for the Crew.
3 was enough last night. Another tight game. This is hit well into right field, and that is gone. No doubt about it. Tyler Naquin, his second of the year. This is a 3-run shot, and it's a 4-run inning here for the Indians.
Oh, he's so close to striking him out with that foul tip. And he gets an extra swing and puts a 4 spot on the board. Off speed pitch. And again, leaving it up a little bit. Naquin a little bit out in front, but keeps the bat in the hitting zone long enough. Drives it out of here. That one hurts. 4-run lead for Carrasco.
Here's Bradley Zimmer. He sent Yelich to the warning track in the second inning. Fly ball that had some carry. Made his debut in the big leagues last year. Talk a lot about velocity on not just pitching or exit velocity, but if you recall last year, Brett Phillips had the highest velocity on a throw from the outfield, an outfield assist. Zimmer was right behind him. Those two guys, the fastest velo, the most velo in outfield assists last year.
Yeah.
100 plus. Phillips was with 104, Zimmer 101.5. That's bringing it.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that'll keep runners at their bases. You don't be testing those arms. Yeah, we know how accurate Phillips is. Not sure. We haven't seen a whole lot of Zimmer in his accuracy.
Guerra with the 2-2.
Which is just as important.
Right. Yeah, throwing hard's one thing, but
and if you don't put it, you know, on the base, what good does it do?
Guerra still looking to get an out. Couple of doubles, a single, and a 3-run homer. Zimmer did have 4 outfield assists last year, so it gives you at least some idea. Moving forward, you're maybe a little careful, trying to get an extra base. A strikeout for Guerra. That's his 7th. Finally out number 1 in the 4th.
He's had 2 strikes on a number of guys in this inning. Haven't been able to put him away. It looked like a pretty good pitch to get Zimmer that time.
One away for Roberto Perez. There's a strikeout victim in the second inning. It's in year 2 of a 4-year contract is Perez. Two balls, 1 strike. Well, what Guerra had going for him, especially in the 2nd and 3rd inning, it has escaped him here in the 4th. Take a look at that pitch count. Cruise through innings 2 and 3. 30 of them here in the 4th. Brewers bullpen delivered last night, and it started, remember, with Brent Suter, who came in with 1 out in the 1st inning. Jeffress, Dan Jennings, and then a 6-out save from Josh Hader last night, which is becoming a bit of a regular occurrence now, those multi-inning saves for the Brewers.
Yeah, he's got 5 of them, this Hader. 2-inning saves.
2-2 pitch. There he is, just terrific again last night.
Yeah, probably won't see him today. Probably won't see Suter today. So it's kind of the way it's been going in that Brewers bullpen. It has been really fun to watch Craig Counsell manage that pen this year.
There's a liner to left, and Yelich will secure it for out number 2.
Hey, the Brewers host the first place Diamondbacks for a 3-game series at Miller Park Monday, May 21st through Wednesday the 23rd. Check out the complete schedule and get your tickets today by visiting brewers.com. Going to see the Diamondbacks on the next road trip.
Yes, sir. The middle stop of the 3-city swing for Milwaukee. 4-gamer with the Rockies coming up. 3 in Arizona and then 3 in Minneapolis. Carrasco quickly behind, no balls, 2 strikes. This is what's going on here for the Brewers. Talked about it quite a bit. 19 of 24 on the road. A couple of 3-city trips and a 5-game homestand in between. And a called 3rd strike. Finally ends the inning, but the Indians put 4 on the board. Tyler Naquin, a 3-run homer, the big blow.
Serve all military families.
4-0 Indians lead the Brewers. Christian Yelich will lead things off. He was flashing that gold glove skill set that he has last night. Check this out. And the distance covered. Look at that. about almost 30 feet per second right there for Christian Yelich to help out his buddy Josh Hader. The Gold Glover with the Marlins back in 2014, one of the best around. Good that he's over here now. Watching him every day, you really appreciate the overall skill set.
Yeah, he does just about everything right. Very rarely makes a mistake on the field. He thinks things through. Very good base runner. That's not just the fact that he's fast and he cuts the angles. He's got good instincts.
Yelich, Aguilar, and Shaw against Carlos Carrasco, who struck out the side in the third inning. Two singles for the Brewers. Kane in the first, VR in the second. That has been it so far against the 31-year-old right-hander for the Indians. Carry out of play. Two strikes and nothing to Yelich. Mentioned last night, Kluber, last night's starter, he struggled in the divisional round against the Yankees last year in what was otherwise a terrific year for him. Carrasco pitched well in his one and only start against the Yankees in the postseason. He's pitching pretty well today as he gets Yelich swinging for the second time.
Well, changeup his first time up got him. This time a slider. Yeah, back foot slider off the plate. And Christian swings over the top of it.
Mentioned he had Tommy John surgery. Wiped out 2012 for him. For a time in 2014, they moved Carrasco to the bullpen. He was struggling in the rotation. Got some things straightened out. Returned to the rotation in August of that year. And gave his club 32 starts last season and exactly 200 innings of work.
Yep, 18 wins. Pretty good 1-2 punch, I'd say. Kluber, Carrasco.
He had two of them who, among other things, are innings eaters. They're both a lot more than that.
Got Trevor Bauer in the starting rotation.
And Aguilar goes down swinging. That's the last 5 now that Carrasco has retired. It has been via the strikeout.
Yeah, a lot of strikeouts for both sides already today.
7 for Carrasco, 8 for Junior Guerra. Oh, here's Travis Shaw. Fly ball to center that ended the first inning. Here's what Shaw did last night in inning number 1 against Corey Kluber.
Yep, slider mistake. That's what you got to do. Get him early. And Shaw did just that.
Powerball home run count number 7 on the year for Shaw.
Last night was just one of those fun games to watch.
Really was.
Yeah, a lot going on. Good defense. You root for a guy like Brent Suter. Good to see, Corey Kluber. Never seen him pitch in person. First time he's ever faced Milwaukee.
Part of the treat of interleague play. You get that opportunity. And Shaw looks at a called third strike. Back-to-back innings where Carrasco struck out the side. We are through 4. It's 4-0 Indians.
And all season long, you can stay in the loop on all things Brewers with MLB At Bat, the official app of the Brewers with At Bat. You get breaking news, live radio broadcasts, and lineup updates sent right to your finger. It is early, you know.
I understand.
Download At Bat today, free for your smartphone or tablet. Lineup updates sent right to your fingertips.
Hey, you know, you were talking earlier that it could be tough for players, creatures of habit, ready for night games. You're still a player, right? You think like a player. I struggle day or night.
Yeah,
well,
well,
it could be a little tough. Day games after night games for you. Francisco Lindor, who has struck out a couple of times, down 2 strikes and nothing now, leading off the 5th. Guerra with a 2-strike pitch. Just reaching out and sending one into left center field is Lindor, and he's thinking 2 all the way, and Lorenzo Cain will not have it. VR applies the tag, and that's out number 1.
No, he stayed with it. Laz Diaz did too, the second base umpire. Lindor doesn't think he's out. Indians are taking a look at it. That's just good hustle by Lindor, to say nothing about the approach, getting the bat on that baseball. Good throw by Cain. He's safe here, but he comes off the bag. I don't know.
Oh, I don't either.
Yeah, I don't know. Taking a long look at it, and they're going to continue.
All right, there you go. Out number 1. So a single, and then 8-4 on the put out at second.
Not able to stay on the bag. My guess is if it was a 0-0 game, I think they ask for a review.
Yeah, he's going to keep it in his pocket.
Might need it later on if he didn't get reversed. Maybe there's what he got him.
Yeah.
Maybe he kept the hand, kept the glove on the arm just long enough.
Yeah, good job by VR.
That's good camera work too. Good job, guys.
Oh, 2 the count to Jason Kipnis. And there is another strikeout for Junior Guerra. We are seeing a ton of them, both sides here this afternoon.
17 strikeouts between the 2 offenses. And then we're sitting here in the top of the 5th. Perfect pitch right on the outside corner.
2 outs for Jose Ramirez. He started the 4th inning for Cleveland with a double. First 4 reached off Guerra. It was a Ramirez double, run scoring single for Michael Brantley, a double from Alonso, and then a 3-run homer off the bat of Tyler Naquin. Saw a moment ago 9 strikeouts for Guerra. That's a season best. His career best, you go back a couple of years ago, he had 11 punch outs against the Cubs in a game in May of 2016. Three balls, no strikes to the Indians' third baseman. A 4-pitch walk. Second walk given up by Junior this afternoon. Here's Michael Brantley. Reached both times here so far today. It's a very healthy numbers for him. Runners going. Here's the throw from Pena. Stolen base at second of the day for Jose Ramirez.
Hey, Manny had a chance to get them both times, but throw it a little bit high. That one way high that time. It's all about the footwork, and Manny has really good footwork. You get those feet in position and the arm doesn't drop. Arm dropped a little bit, and that's why the throw was high.
Mentioned that footwork that was so instrumental in getting Billy Hamilton last week trying to steal. The pop time was exceptional.
Was it 178, something like that?
So yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
Only Martin Maldonado had a better pop time since they've been measuring that, right?
They had big league average about 2 seconds. That's how good that was.
It was the first time this season that Hamilton was caught stealing. Last week at Great American Ballpark. Two and one the count now to Brantley. Indians with 6 hits in the game. They have stranded 2 runners. That was in the opening inning. Two-one pitch. In the air, shallow left. Long run, Yelich, and he makes the catch. Picked it just in time. Another nice play by the left fielder for the Milwaukee Brewers. That ends the inning. 4-0 Cleveland in the 5th. Early going, Rock. Both pitchers have been, but Carrasco now 6 straight punch-outs.
He's really got the slider working nicely. I mean, most of his strikeouts have come on that pitch. The fastball has been good. The changeup, he hasn't used too many changeups. He throws that pitch mainly to left-handed hitters, but you know, the slider fastball combination has been a good one for him. He's been able to get ahead and have the Brewers chasing that slider with 2 strikes.
Starts Santana with a strike. Santana, Villar, and Pena here for Milwaukee in the home half of the 5th. Ringo, a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. Came in hitting .361 over his last 12 games, 13 for 36. It's in play. Kipnis is there for out number 1. ends the streak. He had struck out 6 in a row.
That slider fastball.
The last Brewer to reach was the hitter coming to the plate right now, Jonathan VR. Singled in the second. Manny Pena hit into a double play to end the inning. Big frame so far, the fourth. Cleveland getting all of their runs. Tyler Naquin, a 3-run homer.
They have 4 consecutive hitters reaching base, including a homer.
Here's the 0-1. Feeds in the slider again, 0-2. Four and 1 is his record. Carrasco, a 3.95 ERA, and that was bumped up in the last couple of outings. Up 6 runs in 5 1/3 to the Blue Jays, 4 runs in 3 innings against the Mariners. Here's the 1-2. Brewers trying to find that answer, getting more offense at second base. Nick Franklin called up, played last night briefly, had to exit with a quad injury. He's on the DL. Eric Sogard trying to get things straightened out at AAA. So another window of opportunity for VR perhaps here.
Can't keep anybody healthy. One comes in, they get hurt. Sogard got sent down, ineffective. Franklin hurt. Now Saladino is going to get a shot. You wonder when he's going to get a start. He's a right-handed batter, maybe against a lefty.
2-2 pitch. Full count now to VR. Carrasco with a payoff pitch and another strikeout. 2 away. Well, let's get an update on the personnel moves that have been going on. There have been several as we check in with Sophia.
Well, there have been several, Matt, but there is good news on the health front as well. Zach Davies threw a bullpen today, so it's a good step forward for him. He's been on the disabled list and skipped a start, dealing with some right shoulder inflammation, so they'll decide how that bullpen goes. He could start as early as Friday, but Craig Counsell says beyond tomorrow's start in Yoeli Chastain, they have not made any decisions on the starting rotation for the weekend series in Denver, so they have some flexibility there with Davies' spot. He said they also have not considered how they will fill out Wade Miley's spot for Sunday. Obviously, Brent Suter filled in very nicely for him last night with 4 2/3. Also, for the bullpen, we told you Corey Knebel is activated today. Well, they will get another reliever back in Boone Logan. He is traveling from Nashville, where he made his final minor league rehab appearance last night. Struck out the side in 1 inning, so he will be activated tomorrow in Denver. So overall, some good news along with some bad news there.
You know, it's important to point that out, especially when you get Knebel back, the all-star closer. As the strikeout parade continues, he gets 2 out of 3 with the K here in the 5th inning. We are through 5. Carrasco and the Indians leading 4-0. interesting man in sports. You get opinion that cuts through the hype. Got Speak for Yourself with Colin Cowherd and Jason Whitlock weekdays at 4 p.m. Central, only on FS1. 4-0 Indians. Carlos Carrasco is dealing. Junior Guerra had a little rhythm going, but the Indians made the 4th inning a tough one. Guerra's day is done. 5 innings, 6 hits, and 4 runs as he turns it over to Jacob Barnes.
Yeah, 1 bad inning, 1 4-batter stretch for Junior Guerra, and he's down 4-0. 16th appearance for Jacob. .212 the earned run average for the hard-throwing right-hander. Barnes pitched on Sunday against the Pirates, gave up and a couple of runs, one of them earned in 2/3 of an inning.
He'll face Yonder Alonso, Tyler Naquin, and Bradley Zimmer in the top half of the 6th inning. Only the Arizona Diamondbacks, have a better bullpen in terms of ERA than do the Milwaukee Brewers. As Barnes very nearly clips Alonso with the first offering.
Yeah, loosen him up in the box.
A strikeout and a double for Alonso. Jacob brings it at 97. Brewers bullpen ERA is 2.56. Diamondbacks at 2.15. A big part of Arizona's strong start. And Alonso with a liner into right field. Leadoff man aboard for Cleveland.
Yeah, these guys have been very good. I'm not sure how much better they can get, but it seems like they'll be able to eat up a lot of innings. They ate up 8 2/3 yesterday. That was pretty good work out of that bullpen. Now, there's a statistic that they keep in baseball. That's relief appearances. The Brewers have the 2nd fewest, believe it or not, and the reason for that is because Craig Counsell uses his relievers in multiple innings. 115 relief appearances before today, and that's 2nd fewest in the National League.
Yeah, he has a number of options. We've discussed it, and it's a nice weapon that Counsell has with so many out of the bullpen who can give you a couple of innings.
Yeah, the Pirates have only used 109.
Ground ball through, and a base hit to center. So Alonso a single, Tyler Naquin a single. First 4 reach for the Indians in the 4th inning. The first 2 are on in the 6th.
Yeah, that cut fastball down the middle of the plate, but at the knees. Yeah, left-handers like it down there. Yeah, Naquin able to find the hole into center field.
So a little trouble here for Jacob Barnes. Bradley Zimmer at the plate. And a pop-up. Infield fly. Out number 1. Big out there for Jacob Barnes. He'll be now facing the 8th place hitter in the order. Single to right from Alonso. A single to center from Naquin.
And now get your ground ball.
Get yourself out of trouble. Said it's a fly ball hit into center field. Lots of room for Lorenzo Cain. That is out number 2. Alonso will hold. Barnes battling back after the first 2 reached. Tries to get through the opposing pitcher, and he's out of the jam.
96 on that last fastball to get in on the hands of Perez.
Carrasco has struck out twice. He does have one career hit back a couple of years ago. Indians have out hit the Brewers 8-2. Missing at 96. 2 balls, no strikes to the opposing pitcher. Barnes on in relief of Junior Guerra. Struck out 9, but gave up 4 runs in the 4th inning. That's the difference. Here's the 2-1. And grounded to Arcia. And the Brewers are out of trouble. The first 2 reach on singles, and then Barnes sets down Zimmer, Perez, and Carrasco.
Of Yankee Stadium, renewing the rivalry between the Red Sox and the Yankees. Giancarlo Stanton introducing himself rather nicely. His 3rd multi-home run game of the season last night. A pair of solo home runs in the 2nd and in the 4th against Red Sox starter Drew Pomeranz. The Yankees, by the way, have now won 10 consecutive games at home at Yankee Stadium. And crazy to think that the Red Sox got off to their best start in franchise history. They once had a 7.5 game lead in the division over the Yankees, but the way that the Yankees have come back and played, they are now tied for the best record in baseball, both of them 25-10.
Yeah, and 6.5 games ahead of the Toronto Blue Jays right now.
They both might win 100 games this year.
Yeah, that's all the talk about Houston, which is with reason. You know, people projecting how many wins the reigning world champions will have, but yeah, Red Sox and Yankees. Serious talent.
That'd be something. What a day for Carlos Carrasco. My goodness. Brewers have yet to get a man in scoring position. 2 hits, 10 punch outs, no walks.
Arcia, pinch hitter, and Lorenzo Cain. And this strikeout parade really started for Carrasco in the 3rd inning when he got Arcia. He has struck out 8 of the last 9 hitters he has faced. Only Domingo Santana has put the ball in play in that run through the order. A 5th inning ground ball to second. Facing with the slider, 2 balls, no strikes. Carrasco does have 1 complete game this season. That was against the Tigers. 3-hit, 1-run ball. A couple of other outings where he went at least 7. And he starts this inning with a 4-pitch walk. So there you go, the leadoff man aboard for the Brew Crew.
Hey, today's Tavern of the Game winner, Cindy's Bar in Thorpe. If they call the Brewers by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. You been to Thorpe?
I have not. You?
It's off of Highway 29 between Wausau and Highway 94. I-94, according to Mike Faulkner.
I just miss it. Those up north trips. Been to Cindy's Bar?
I have not. No.
There's another one. Got to check. Got a lot of work to do this off season.
It's gonna be a rough off season.
It is. It's going to be grueling. Brett Phillips pinch hitting. Got a base hit last night. And he needed it. Build some confidence. Not as happy-go-lucky a guy as you'll see, and also skilled. He was hitting in AAA. We talked about it. How he hit in September with the Brewers last year. Second stint up. 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 call got him on a slider, and that's the 11th strikeout of the afternoon for Carlos Carrasco.
Yeah, it's the old chicken or the egg with Brett Phillips. I mean, playing time, and you're going to get hits, but you only get playing time if you're getting hit. So, yeah, Carrasco able to get him on a backdoor slider. Plus, a tough outfield to punch into.
Yeah, it is.
Kind of crowded.
Yes, it is. Here's Lorenzo Cain at the plate, presented by Wendy's. A first inning single to center. He struck out then in the 3rd, and there's a ground ball to Lindor. Kipnis 1 on the 1st, and that's an inning-ending double play. Carrasco just rolling along here this afternoon. We're through 6. Indians up 4-0. Seventh inning now at Miller Park. Carlos Carrasco just outstanding. Oh, tough day so far, but this will bring a smile to your face. The return of Corey Knebel.
He has been on the disabled list since April 6th when he had that strained left hamstring. They were figuring maybe 6 to 8 weeks, but it's been a little over a month. And Corey is back And that fourth game for him. Got off to a rough start. Here's the injury right here. Well, no telling really. I mean, when he went down, you didn't know what it was, but you could see him grab the hamstring, and it did not look good. But he's back, and back a little bit sooner than most thought.
One of those nights where the Cubs were in control, but he had not had an outing for an appearance for a few days, just getting in some work. And tough night got really tough, but here he is back into the mix. He faces the top of the order for the Indians and Francisco Lindor. Right away, he pumps one in there at 97.
Yeah, there's not going to be any issue with the velocity. I think the curveball is one that is an area where he's going to have to work on. That's his bread and butter. When he's able to throw that for strikes, his fastball becomes unhittable.
He could throw that curveball anytime, any situation when he's on. There's a look at the curve there, but it missed, and it's 2-1. Lindor is single in the 5th inning. He has now hit safely in 11 straight. And he gets all of this one. And it's a 5-0 lead for the Indians. Barely dropped one over the wall in right last night. Anything but a wall scraper right there.
That was a fastball after a curveball miss. Lindor knew he was going to get the heater. Boy, he packs a lot of punch in that bat. That fastball, watch where it is. Middle in, about belt high, and Lindor gives that one a ride.
This hitting streak that he is on, it's not just about hitting singles. 11-game hitting streak, his 6th home run in that stretch. He's driven in 12. He's homered in both of the games in this series. Kipnis hits it sharply, but Arcia is right there, and that's out number 1. Chance for Knebel to get his feet wet here. If he gets into rhythm, you can expect to see him late in games doing what he did oh so effectively last year. 39 saves, 76 appearances overall for Knebel. The all-star rep for the Brew Crew in 2017.
A great opportunity for Craig Counsell to get him in the game, non-pressure situation. Let him get that confidence. Let him realize that, you know, he can let her go, and that leg's going to hold up. And sometimes it's not just the physical rehab that you have to go through. It's once everything has passed all the tests, it's a matter of convincing yourself that you don't have to hold back and you're not going to hurt yourself again. That sometimes is the biggest hurdle you have to get over.
Only imagine how frightening that was. It was scary just to watch when he went down a little over a month ago, and a lot of folks were fearing it was going to be a long-term injury, and clearly that is not the case. On the hands, the charge from Arcia, 2nd out of the inning. Let's get more on the return of Corey Knebel as we check it again with Sophia.
Yeah, manager Craig Counsell is saying that his intention is certainly to get Corey back into those late inning situations and give him those high leverage innings. But he said really it's about also how to best utilize everybody else. And he said he's going to want to get Corey a few appearances first before he just puts him back into those late innings. And so he says that can also help free up guys like Josh Hader, Dan Jennings, Jeremy Jeffress. He says it's really about utilizing all of them and putting them all in different spots and trying to just put them in the best possible situations. And when we spoke to Corey Knebel before the game, there was no entitlement on his part as well. He said, these guys have pitched outstanding. I'm happy to come in wherever they need me. And so he knows he needs to work his way back into that late inning role as well.
Yeah, it's good to know that Counsell has a lot of tools to work with. Effective tools in that bullpen. puzzle now is to get the bats going.
Yeah. Man, that's a mystery. That really is, because the way they were swinging the bats in spring training, I mean, they had a very good offensive year last year. Guys just haven't gotten going for the most part. The pitching has really held up their end of the bargain so far.
Michael Brantley with a ground ball. Aguilar feeding Knebel, and that'll do it for the Indians. So a leadoff homer from Lindor, and then Knebel settles down. Stretch time at Miller Park. Brewers have work to do. Miller Lights, great taste at only 96 calories. And by Toyota, let's go places. Another very rugged day for the Brewers offense. Tip your cap at least to this point to Indians starter Carlos Carrasco, who has been rolling through this Milwaukee lineup to the tune of 11 strikeouts, just a couple of hits for the Brew Crew. Christian Yelich leads things off. Yelich, Aguilar, and Shaw.
Yeah, Carrasco has faced one over the minimum. An amazing performance.
2 singles, a walk, 2 double plays, keeping his workload very light. Check it out. This is just his 72nd pitch of the day coming up. Not much in the way of extended at bats even. And no Brewer has been in scoring position so far. And Yelich a base hit. It's the 3rd time today the Brewers have gotten their leadoff man on.
That's just a nice swing right there by Yelich. Watch him pull the hands in on his fastball. Open up those hips, barrels it up, and a good line drive into center field. That's a nice at bat.
Hit number 3 for the Brew Crew. And here is Jesus Aguilar. Aguilar a fly ball to right and a strikeout today. His average a very healthy 339. He came in hitting 370 when he starts. This is start number 14 for Aguilar.
That's just a nasty slider. And he's throwing that pitch pretty much where he wants it to both right-handers and lefties.
Two strikes and nothing to the Brewers' first baseman. Tried it again, but Aguilar won't bite. Prior to today, season high for strikeouts for Carrasco was 7. Little bloop. Alonso can't get there.
That's what he's been doing. I mean, you get that slider in your head up there at the plate. I mean, back-to-back sliders away. And then he locates the fastball up and in, and you just can't get the bat head out. He's jamming Aguilar on that pitch, and he's a really good fastball hitter. Hasn't been using a whole lot of the center of the plate today.
Carrasco ready to load up for the 1-2 pitch. In the air, left center field. That is down. Yelich on his way to third. And the first two are on. And for the first time today, the Brewers have a runner in scoring position. Trying to make a little push here in the 7th.
Yeah, nice job by Aguilar. It was a hanger that time. Carrasco left that one up a little bit down the middle of the plate. Haven't seen too many mistakes like that. And Aguilar shortens up, puts the barrel on it, and finds a gap out there. So, yeah. And Brewers in good shape here in the 7th. Just a good adjustment that time by Aguilar. The one mistake that Carrasco made to him in that at bat, and he hit it hard.
With that nice easy swing. Here's Travis Shaw, fly to center, a strikeout looking. First threat of the day for Milwaukee. And a bouncer over to Kipnis. There's Lindor for one. That's all they get. Yelich scores. Brewers are on the board.
That fastball beats it into the ground. That two-seam fastball has been a good pitch too. And Shaw busted it down the line, able to drive in the run, gets an RBI.
Nineteenth RBI of the year for Shaw. As he drives in Yelich, here's Domingo Santana. Brewers finally put a dent into Carrasco's day.
Now knock one out of here, make this thing interesting.
Absolutely.
Right?
Bingo down 2 strikes and nothing. Santana hit his first homer of the year Friday night off the Pirates' Nick Kingham. Here's the 1-2. Strikeout number 12 for Carlos Carrasco.
It was a hanger too. That was one of the few good pitches they hit. Carrasco left that one down the middle of the plate as well. Hadn't done too much of that. He's done it twice in this inning.
Well, 2 away here in the 7th inning. Jonathan Villar is one of the 4 Brewers hits. He's back in the 2nd inning. VR's one home run has come from the left side. Carrasco has given up 6 home runs, 4 over his last 3 starts. Or check that, 3 over his last couple of starts. And a 1-2 count to the Brewers' second baseman. Yelich a single to center. Aguilar a single to left center. Ground ball from Shaw, scoring Yelich. A strikeout of Domingo Santana. Here's the 1-2 coming up from Carrasco.
Pitch count's still in really good shape. I mean, only 87 pitches at this point. We've talked about how much the Indians bullpen has struggled. You wonder if they're going to send Carrasco out for another if he's able to get through this inning.
We are trying to extend this inning as he rifles one foul. That'll scatter him as that went hard off the screen. Smile now, that pulse rate's going way up. I'm good. A ball, 2 strikes to Jonathan VR. Good take. Brewers finally getting to Carrasco here in the 7th inning. Two-two pitch. Strikeout number 13. Carlos Carrasco. Brewers get on the board. It's still a very good day in progress for the Indians starting pitcher. It's 7-1 Cleveland as we move to the 8th.
we head to the 8th. And once again this season, Brewers Community Foundation will partner with players, coaches, wives, alumni, and other team personnel to continue the Beyond the Diamond campaign, a series of community outreach events benefiting the areas of health, education, recreation, and basic needs throughout the greater Milwaukee area.
All right, Sophia, thank you very much. The double switch here for the Brew Crew. Hernan Perez now in the game. He'll play second base, hit 9th in the order for Craig Counsell. And on the mound out of the bullpen is Jorge Lopez.
Yeah, we saw him on Sunday against the Pirates. Gave up a couple of runs in 2 innings of work. A walk, a couple of strikeouts. Did give up a home run. Got called up on Friday. Last Friday from Colorado Springs. Took the roster spot of Zach Davies, who potentially could come off on Friday.
Yonder Alonso will lead things off. As Sophia reported a while ago. See how Zach bounces back from the bullpen, how he's feeling the day after, and hopefully all is good. Thumbs up and get him back in there as Alonso with a liner to right field, and Santana is there for out number 1.
Hey, on Sunday, May 27th, all fans in attendance for the Brewers matchup against the Mets will take home a one-of-a-kind Travis Shaw Mayor of Ding Dong City bobblehead, courtesy of U.S. Cellular. Reserve your spot today at Brewers.com. I love that nickname.
That's an all-timer.
Mayor of Ding Dong City. Started with Players Weekend, right? The jerseys with the nicknames on the back.
That's right. Brewers were out in L.A. at Dodger Stadium. That's an all-timer, and Zach Davies with Bat Boy. But Mayor of Ding Dong City, that's that one may stand alone.
Yeah.
Big sports fan in general is Travis Shaw. Just to follow the NBA and college sports. Ohio native. It's like what LeBron's been doing again. They decided to turn it up a notch or 2 or 3. Cavaliers.
Is it going to be Golden State against Cleveland again?
I tend to think so.
3 years in a row.
It's a distinct possibility. And you have the Celtics still trying to finish off the Sixers tonight, but the Cavaliers are waiting. The big knock of this game has come from this hitter right now for the Indians, Tyler Naquin. 3-run homer off Junior Guerra in the 4th inning. Payoff pitch from Lopez. First 4 reached in the inning for Cleveland, and this was the big shot, and there was no doubt about it.
Yeah, but it was a 2-strike pitch as well. 4 consecutive hitters. And Junior Guerra was outstanding except for that 4-hitter stretch in the 4th inning.
Yeah, double, single, double home run. That's how that all went down. Lopez gets what he likes. 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Breaking ball gets Naquin for out number 2.
Well, he's got all the pitches, and that one right at the top of the zone. 2 different fastballs. He'll throw a changeup, a slider, a curveball. Some good numbers down in the minor leagues before his call up. 9 games, 245 earned run average. Had 4 saves.
And 2 up, 2 down for him in the 8th inning. Bradley Zimmer at the plate. Quiet days so far for the center fielder. This is his return to the lineup. Missed a couple of games. Got himself banged up, running hard into the Yankee Stadium wall over the weekend. Sore right shoulder, a little hip issue, but right back in there today for Francona. Sharply hit. Perez is there. Jorge Lopez has a 1-2-3 inning here in the 8th. Move to the bottom of the 8th with the Indians up 5-1.
At school, don't show us. Love it. That one kid's got the don't show us on there. Busted. All right, that's where we sit. Bottom of the 8th, we go 5-1 game. Craig Kashan on board, Fox Sports Wisconsin, getting ready for our Brewers Live post-game show. See if the Brewers can get a rally going here. We're set the stage, nonetheless, for the Big Ten game road trip coming up. Also here from Craig Counsell as well. We'll see what's in store here as Brewers Live presented by Freighter and the Medical College of Wisconsin on the way, guys.
All right, Craig. Yeah, the Milwaukee version of Ferris Bueller's Day Off going on down there. That's good.
The girl next to him had a sign that said couldn't think of anything. That's great.
There's Manny Pena, fly ball hit back into right field. Lots of room for Tyler Naquin for out number 1. Well, we encourage creativity. That's pretty good.
That is good. And Terry Francona, you know, leaving his starter out there. Pitch count's in pretty good shape, sitting at 92. I'd like to see him get through this inning.
Got a couple of triple-digit outings in terms of his pitch count. In a good spot right now. Here's Orlando Arcia. Arcia started and ended Carrasco's strikeout run. He had punched out 8 out of 9. And then Arcia led off the 6th inning with a walk. "13 strikeouts so far today for the Indian starter. Averaged 10 per 9 innings last year, did Carrasco. Fly ball to right again. Again, it's Naquin for out number 2. Let's take a look at Carrasco's day, and it's been a very good one for the Cleveland Indians following the reigning Cy Young winner. Strikeout after strikeout, the Badger Mutual Insurance plays of the game.
Well, if you haven't seen enough of them, let's check them out again. I mean, one after the other. I mean, good command of fastball. Changeup's been very good, but his pitch today has certainly been the slider, working it ahead in the count. and throwing it out of the strike zone to get the punch out. 13 punch outs, 1 walk. He's allowed only 4 hits. An incredible performance by Carrasco today.
This is just pitch number 95 and a bouncer to Lindor, and 95 pitches will get Carrasco through 8 innings. Brewers go quietly. We move to the 9th. Indians up by 4. How was school today?
Yeah.
It was great. We had a good time today. Learned a lot. That's outstanding. 5-1 lead here for the Indians. We move to the 9th inning. Always have fun at the ballpark. Roberto Perez shoots one down the line, and he's going to have himself extra bases. Perez on his way to second. Santana having trouble digging it out, and Perez will come all the way around to third. That's how the 9th inning starts.
Yeah, check it out. He stays on this pitch and just gets on top of it just inside the first baseline. And by the time Santana gets down there, rattling around in that corner, even the catcher is able to get into third base. That's a long throw all the way down in the corner. Yep, he made it. You can stop.
Tank's getting low. That's his 3rd career triple, though. Been there before, as have you, Rock. Right? Now, I know you talked a lot about your first hit.
Did somebody tell you to say that?
No, I still feel bad. You know, the Reds with their staff shuffling. Danny Darwin is the pitching coach. He and Ted Power share the duties, but Darwin, we didn't get a chance to see him, and we were ready to bring it up. As Carrasco, that's the kind of day he's having. RBI single for the Indians pitcher, and it's now 6-1. But anyway, back to your story.
Yeah, well, I got my first ever big league hit. It was a triple. Those of you out there watching that have heard this story before, go to the fridge and get something to eat. I'm always coerced into telling this story, but my first hit was a triple off of Danny Darwin. Over the head of Billy Sample. And Davey Garcia was a third base coach, and when I was around second, he had the stop sign up. I couldn't stop. I just kept going.
Brakes weren't working.
About 2/3 of the way to third base, ball hits me in the back. Ended up with a triple, the only triple I hit.
Did you look cool?
No.
No?
No, I didn't lay there like that, like Perez did. I get up, I was ready to keep going. It's like that little league thing, you know, run to you, they throw you out.
That's right. And you thought, man, I didn't know it'd be this easy.
Yeah, ended up catching Danny Darwin when we played together with the Brewers.
Right. We were all set to talk about that, and lo and behold, the only guy who came out of the Reds dugout was Jim Riggleman.
Yeah. Mercifully.
But somehow, some way, we would get that in there. Anytime a catcher hits a triple.
Yeah, while the Indians are in town. Yeah. Yeah, well.
There's Francisco Lindor.
Now, we could have waited until we got to Minneapolis because Paul Molitor, his 3,000th hit was a triple.
Yeah, that's right.
Only time.
Lindor with a fly ball hit back into center field, and room for Lorenzo Cain, and that is out number one. Fun to see the Indians in town for not so much fun today, but a variety of reasons. Marks the return of Wisconsin native there on your left, Tom Hamilton, Hammy, the pride of Waterloo, Wisconsin.
And one of the best. Good man, Tom Hamilton, and one of my good buddies, Rick Manning, on the TV side.
That's right. That's
Archie.
Right. Tom's been over there about 30 years now. There's Rick Manning.
All smiles over there today. 5-run lead.
He's going to set you all up in Cleveland too, right?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Talk to him about it. We got a day off there.
Yeah, good spots in Cleveland, Ohio. Been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
I have.
I need to maybe do that.
Last time we were there, I went to the Christmas Story house. You ever seen the movie?
I believe you have a little photographic evidence of that, do you
Yeah, no,
not?
well, we don't want to break that out.
Oh, I think we might.
I was coerced. You know when the wife tells you to do something and you say no, and then she tells you again?
Yeah.
And you say no, and then she tells you again, and she gives you the eye?
Yeah, and you know you have no chance. Oh, I think we got some material for that, trip to Cleveland.
All-time great movies. Christmas Story.
Three-one pitch to Kipnis. In the air, left field, and that will slice foul. Been a struggle for Kipnis. He does have a single today, but they're still trying to get him going. Injury plagued a year ago. Not an issue today. The Indians with 6 runs on 11 hits, and Carlos Carrasco has been money on the mound for Cleveland. 3-2 pitch. Fouled it off his foot.
Yep, that's why he wears a shin guard, but apparently missed the shin guard. I was just informed that Ichiro got his 3,000 hit. It was a triple. So
that's right.
Yeah, Molitor not the only one.
That's right. Ichiro stepping aside. I guess not technically a retirement, but not playing anymore this season. That's hit well. Out the left field. Yelich at the track. We're out number 2. Ichiro will take part in some pregame BP, but stepping aside otherwise. Great hitters to ever play this game. There's Jose Ramirez. And he pops this one up. Arcia will call for it, and that'll do it for Cleveland here in the 9th inning. They pick up another run. Brewers need a big 9th inning. 6-1 Indians lead the Brewers. Last chance here for Milwaukee, and another tough day for the offense. Let's check out the Powerball home run leaderboard. Travis Shaw hit number 7 last night. He and Eric Thames at the top. Ryan Braun with 5, and Lorenzo Cain, who leads off this 9th inning, next in line with 4. Carlos Carrasco, just outstanding here today, closing in on what would be his 2nd complete game of this season. 8 innings of 4-hit, 1-run ball, 13 strikeouts here this afternoon.
And one of the best pitching performances that we've seen this year. We've seen some good ones, but he's been dominant today.
Eric Gonzalez now in the game at second base for Terry Francona's club. I beg your pardon. Lorenzo Cain leads off. Cain with one of the 4 hits off Carrasco. That was in the 1st inning. Not as though it'll get any easier for the Brewers. A 4-game series with the Rockies on the road starts tomorrow, and then 3 against the Diamondbacks. It's back into interleague play. So with the Twins. Speaking of the upcoming schedule, let's check out Miller Lite's What's on Tap series with the Rockies tomorrow. Yulise Chassin against German Marquez for the Rockies. Our coverage starts at 7 with Brewers Live here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Carrasco with a 2-2, and Cain into right field. Quinn, long run, can't get it. Cain around first, and he'll coast it into second with a stand-up double, his 2nd hit of the day.
A bullet to the opposite field for Lorenzo. A couple of hits for him. If nothing else, let's get Carrasco out of there. Get into that bullpen that has scuffled mightily. And 94 up out over the plate, and he drives it out there off the base of the wall and right. Keep it going. Let's see what happens here.
On a day where the offense has scuffled, they have gotten the leadoff man aboard 4 times. Here's Christian Yelich, who started the 7th inning with a single. That's been the scoring inning so far for Milwaukee. Yelich was 3 for 4 last night. The 1-0. Two balls, no strikes. Carrasco with 9 complete games in his career. A high for him was 2015. Went the distance on 3 occasions. The 2-1 pitch. Double from Cain to lead off this 9th inning. Here's the 3-1. He's caught the corner, says Andy Fletcher.
Yep, looked like it did. 92. Right on the edge.
Full count to the left fielder. Hanging in there. .302 average for Yelich, .370 on base percentage. Payoff pitch. And a bouncer over to Gonzalez. Out number one. As Kane moves to third. One away here in the ninth. Jesus Aguilar to the plate. Got involved in that scoring inning. Followed the Yelich single with one of his own in the seventh inning. Brewers with just 5 hits this afternoon. Back to the fastball for Carrasco. Quickly 0-2.
Still has good movement on that fastball. 110 pitches now for him.
Given the 13 strikeouts, he has been very, very efficient. 2-strike pitch. In the air to right field. Naquin at the wall makes the catch. Kane will tag as Aguilar just did miss.
Yeah, about what? About 3-4 feet to the right. That's out. Right in the corner out there in the straightaway right field. That's just a nice stroke with 2 strikes. 94, Naquin right there, but you know, you get that over about 3-4 feet, it dropped right into the Aurora Healthcare bullpen.
Thought he had one there. Sounded good. Park held it. Brewers down to their final out. Shaw bounced into a fielder's choice. Yelich was able to score the first run of the day for Milwaukee. Change up there to even the count. From here, the Indians return home. Off day tomorrow. Then the Royals come into Cleveland on Friday. Brewers head west. Two balls, 1 strike to Travis Shaw. .115 pitches, a season high for Carrasco. In control throughout. Here's the 2-2. Thirteen of them. A terrific outing for Carlos Carrasco. Make it 14, and that'll do it here at Miller Park this afternoon. He was just outstanding. Brewers knew they were up against it with Corey Kluber last night, Carrasco today, and the Brew Crew ends up with a split in this interleague series. Cleveland wins it this afternoon, 6-2. Let's send it down to Craig Kashawn and Brewers Live.
Okay, Matt, we'll take a look ahead at the big road trip coming up for Milwaukee. Hear from Craig Counsell about today's defeat. Also go over those roster changes again. And we will come back with Brewers Live postgame right after this.